Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Flower Cardian Yugioh deck profile for May 2018. Actually, the spark that got me wanting to update this deck was the fact that we got a synchro in the latest booster pack, Flames of Destruction, to basically complete, I think, all the support that we have for the Flower Cardian deck. So it's pretty cool. The main focus of the deck is to just spam out a bunch of different Flower Cardian monsters from your deck by drawing and revealing them. Fill up your board and then synchro with them. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off with the monsters, I run 3 Flower Cardian Pine. This would say is your main Flower Cardian. If this card's normal summon, you draw 1 card, show it, then send it to the graveyard unless it is a Flower Cardian monster. You can only use this effect of Pine once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So what's so important about Flower Cardian Pine is that it has to basically... It's the easiest one to summon since you can normal summon this card. Other ones have either a special summon requirement or you have to tribute to get them out. For a special summon, Pine, you just have to normal summon and you get the draw to make up for that normal summon. And if it's a Flower Cardian, it goes to your hand, obviously. But it just helps with that draw power. It's defensive in that own right. But like I said, he's made for basically starting off all your plays. And then I run 3 Flower Cardian Zebragrass. Now with Zebragrass, Willow, and Paulownia, they all have the effects. If you control a monster lower than the specified level on the card, you can special summon them. So with Zebragrass, if you control a level 7 or lower Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for Flower Cardian monsters. And if it's normal or special summon, you can reveal any number of Flower Cardian monsters in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, then draw the same number of cards. So Zebragrass is basically good because it makes up for cards you can't really use in your hand yet until maybe later plays, so you can kind of get a reshuffle and hopefully a better redraw with this card. And I also run 3 Flower Cardian Willow. With Willow, same effect as Zebragrass for the special summon, but you have to control a level 10 or lower Flower Cardian monster for this one. And then the same restriction of not being able to special summon anything but Flower Cardians until the end of the turn. And then you can target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard, shuffle into the deck, and draw 1 card. So it's a good recycle for, let's say, your tuners that you run in the deck. And the draw power just helps because you'll make up for a lot of your tributes that you do with some of your other Flower Cardians, which we'll get to in a bit. And the last of the easy special summons is 3 Flower Cardian Paulownia. For this one, you need a level 11 or lower Flower Cardian on the field to special summon this card from your hand. And then the other effect is when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack and then end the battle phase, then draw 1 card. So if it's kind of like just sitting there, you can kind of bait your opponent out in the attack mode to either go for this card, or if you have, Pine, you're going to get a draw no matter what. But with this, you at least get the attack negation in the draw. Pine obviously has to be destroyed to get that, but still beneficial for the draw. But most of the time, you'll just want to spam these guys out so you can go for the synchro summon that you want. And then we'll move on now to the tribute Flower Cardians. I run 3 Mabel with Deer. With these, they cannot be normal summon or set. They must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing 1 Flower Cardian, except for Mabel with Deer. If this card is special summoned, you draw 1 card, and if you do, show it. Then if it is a Flower Cardian monster, you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, otherwise send it to the graveyard. So with Deer, it's the spell and trap popping effect, obviously, that makes this card very good. And another good thing about Deer, Curtain, and Boar is that they have effects that basically let you draw, but it's not a send to the graveyard effect, so you can still make full use of that draw. You just don't get their secondary effects with it. And also I run 3 Flower Cardian Cherry Blossom and Curtain. Once again, you must be special summon this one by basically you reveal this card, and then you draw 1 card. If you do, show it. Then special summon this card if it is a Flower Cardian. Send it and the card to the graveyard otherwise. And during either player's damage step, when your Flower Cardian monster battles an opponent's monster, you can discard this card. Your battling monster gains 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. So it's basically an honest for the deck. 1,000 attack. And another easy special summon, you don't need to have a Flower Cardian on the field, or you don't have to tribute for it. You just have to reveal and hope to get the proper draw off of this card. Otherwise, you lose both, but still a good risk and still a good hand trap kind of to keep in your hand for that 1,000 boost with some of your bigger Flower Cardians. And also 3 Flower Cardian board. Getting back to the tribute effects, same as Maple with Deer. This one has the tribute effect, and then if this card is special summon, you draw 1 card. And if you do show it, then if it's a Flower Cardian monster, you destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. So, once again, another good potential power play with this card for the destruction of the monster effect, obviously, and just a good tribute summon. The one thing you have to remember, though, with the tribute summon ones for the Flower Cardians, you want to really make sure you benefit off your draw. Otherwise, you're just keeping the same amount of monsters on the field. But most of the time with Boar and Deer, you're doing the tribute so you can just pop monsters or spells depending on what you want to get rid of on your opponent's side of the field. And now moving on to the tuners, I run 3 Flower Cardian Peony with Butterfly. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summon from your hand by tributing 1 Flower Cardian monster, except for Flower Cardian Peony. And if this card is special summon, you draw 1 card. If you do, show it. Then if it is a Flower Cardian, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Then place them all in the top or bottom of the deck in any order. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. And when this card is used for a synchro summon, you can treat it and all other synchro materials as level 2. So the big thing is to obviously have a lot of Flower Cardians out on your field. And then if they're all treated as level 2, you can adjust how you want for the synchro play between 2 and 10 and how many Flower Cardians you have. So I think the lowest level Flower Cardian is 6. So you need this and at least 2 other Flower Cardians. And then you just go up from there with 6, 8, and then 10, obviously. And then lastly, for the final tuner, 2 Willow with Calligrapher. For this one, you must first be special summoned by tributing 1 a level 11 Flower Cardian monster, except for Cardian Willow with Calligrapher. If this card is special summoned, you draw 1 card. If you do, show it. Then you can special summon it if it's a Flower Cardian. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. When this card is used as a synchro material, you can treat it and all other synchro material as level 2. So for this one, you have to tribute a level 11 Flower Cardian to summon it out, which in this case is Willow. But definitely worth it for that draw power effect once again. And it's very easy to make sure you at least get Willow in the hand and tribute it for this card. And you just need those amount of tuners in the deck just to make your synchro summons consistent. I find that 5 is the best number to go for with the Flower Cardian deck. And that's it for the monsters. I find the pure build is easy enough because you need all Flower Cardians for your summons. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Flower Gathering. You special summon 4 Flower Cardian monsters with 100 attack and different names from your deck and attack position, but they have their effects negated. Also, they cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. You can only activate 1 Flower Gathering per turn. You cannot normal or special summon other monsters during the turn you activate this, except Flower Cardians. So your first 4 that we showed in the video are all the 100 attack Flower Cardians. So those are the ones you special summon off this card. You run 3 of each, so easy enough to make this consistent, and it just really helps with your field swarming for the deck. And I also run 3 Reincarnation. This is your Monster Reborn for the deck. You target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Flower Cardian monster from your hand, ignoring the summoning conditions. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a Flower Cardian monster's effect, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. And if you do, add 1 excavated spell or trap to your hand. Place the remaining on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So what's great about some of the Flower Cardian cards is that you benefit from them being, sent to the graveyard by the Flower Cardian effects. Reincarnation's no exception. So that search helps you grab whatever spell card you need, and if you have it in your hand originally, just the add back special summon effect does come in handy a lot. And I also run 2 Flower Stacking. This lets you choose 3 Flower Cardians with different names from your deck and place them on the top of your deck in any order. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target 1 Flower Cardian in your graveyard, add to your hand. You only use this effect once per turn, but really placing what you want on top of your deck is definitely helpful, and the add back effect from the graveyard just makes it getting sent there all the better, so you can use it when that comes up. And I also run 2 Super Koi Koi. It's kind of a risky card gamble, but still worth it, definitely in my opinion. Just for the excavating the top 3 cards of your deck, and you special summon as many Flower Guardians among them as possible, ignoring their summoning conditions, but their levels become 2. And then you also have their effects negated and banish the remaining cards face down. If you do, you lose 1,000 life points for each, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 tribute, to tribute 1 monster, to special summon 1 Flower Guardian monster from your hand, ignoring the summoning conditions. So great Field Swarm and setting them up for level 2, obviously, so you can go for your synchro plays quite easily as well. And I also run 3 Allure of Darkness, pretty standard. All of the Flower Guardian monsters are dark, so this is just extra draw power to grab what you need, and to get rid of whatever Guardians you don't want to use at the moment, or can't use. And the final spell, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, so you can grab the most important Flower Guardian Pine, and add it to your hand. And then moving on to the extra deck, a very Flower Guardian heavy extra deck. 3 Flower Guardian Light Shower. One of your big Flower Guardians, level 8, 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. It has burn capabilities for your opponent every time they draw a card from their deck, so for their normal draw. And he also protects your other cards by skipping your draw phase, so with 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense, a great synchro monster to sit on. And also 3 Flower Guardian Boardfly. With this one, if a Flower Guardian monster you control attacks a defense monster, you inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. And once per turn, you can banish 1 Flower Guardian from your graveyard. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can activate effects or cards in the graveyard. Also, they cannot special summon. So, great graveyard lockdown with Boardfly. And the piercing comes in handy when your opponent's trying to play defensive against you. And I run 2 of the new Flower Guardian Moonflower Viewing Wing. Once per turn during your main phase, you can draw 1 card. If you do, show it. Then if it's a Flower Guardian monster, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions, and it can attack directly this turn. If you activate its effect, skip the draw phase of your next turn, and when this card is used as synchro material, you can treat it and all other synchro materials as level 2 monsters. And it's also a level 2 tuner as well, so keep that in mind. So definitely helpful there. Kind of like a borrowed draw as well, since you skip the draw phase for the one you take, but nonetheless a very, very good synchro to use, just so you have more resources to go into if you can only make like a level 6 tuner at the time, but you want to make a big one later on. And for your main synchro, 3 Flower Guardian Light Flare. When you get your 5 on the field and you have your tuner and you make this guy, he is your heavy hitter, 5,000 attack, 0 defense. And once per turn during either player's turn when your opponent activates a spell or trap, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. If a Flower Guardian monster you control battles an opponent's monster, the opponent's monster has its effects negated during the battle phase only. If this face-up synchro card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while the owner controls it, you can special summon 1 Flower Guardian synchro from your extra deck except for Light Flare. So you can grab any of the synchros you want. Most of the time I go for Light Shower just for another boss monster on the field that they have to deal with. But plenty of options with this guy, and like I said, he's your big monster you go for. 5,000 attack, can't go wrong there, also with this spell negation. And to finish up the extra deck, just a couple Link monsters. Be wary when you are going for these, because you have to remember the special summon restrictions, obviously, but still handy to have the generics Underclock, Decode, Gaia Saber, and Borreload in the extra deck. All player preference, truly, what Link monsters you want. Just make sure they're generic. When we get the Dark Mrs. Radiant and Cybernetic Horizon, definitely be running that in this deck. It definitely helps out a lot. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.